उन्होंने जब कहा था जब हम खेलने जाते थे ना कहा था ना तो कहा था हेलो
थैंक यू सर, थैंक यू बेटा। वो डॉक्टर राम
शेखर पीछे वाला गेट
चार्जर मेरे पास लैपटॉप में मेरे लैंड नहीं है तो मैं कर देता हूँ।
हाँ जी कर दो। हाँ दक्ष देखना जरा, एक तो आपके वो कोई मैसेज आया था स्क्रीन शेयरिंग नहीं हो रही, ये लाइन नहीं चल रहा।
मैं अगर वाईफाई बंद करके देख दिया तो फिर तो एक मिनट प्रॉपर्टीज में
सरस्वती वंदना भी डाउनलोड करनी पड़ेगी। सर का फोन आया अभी
तो बंद
होगी ना सरस्वती वंदना देखना है फिर यूट्यूब में भी
वो तो उधर से प्ले होगी अगर होगी भी
तो डाउनलोड करके उनको भेज दो।
एक निशा ढिल्लो मैम है ना जो उनका माइक चल रहा है और उनकी सारी बातें सुनाई दे रही है, उन्हें बताओ बंद करें अपना माइक।
आपके यहाँ से वो नहीं है, उनको बोलो आप क्योंकि हमारे यहाँ से नहीं है, वो यहीं से होंगे कोई।
मैं बंद करवा दूँगा।
आप अपने उसमें कंट्रोल में रखो ना कि वो
ये देखो इनका माइक खुला हुआ है।
आप यहाँ पे जाओ ये
अरे वो उस लैपटॉप से होता है मैम, उस लैपटॉप पे
एडमिन कौन है इसको जो
वो उधर लैपटॉप पे है
तो वहाँ पर ना नीचे होगी
हाँ मैं कर रहा
सेटिंग्स
हूँ
में जाके वो कर दो।
हाँ इथरनेट।
हाँ जी स्टूडेंट्स, थोड़ी सी पेशेंस और रख लो प्लीज़, थोड़ा सा लेट हो गए, चीफ गेस्ट आ ही रहे हैं बस अभी, फिर स्टार्ट करेंगे।
चलो मैं बस इसको रिकनेक्ट कर
आप एक बार रिकन्फिगर करके लाओ मैम, इसमें तो आ नहीं। एक बार करना मैम, फिर से करना अब सिग्नल दिया था इसने एक से। हाँ वैन पे लगा हुआ था पहले, लैन पे ही लगेगा।
ये क्यों हो गया?
नो इंटरनेट दे रहा है।
तब तक किसी का फ़ोन नहीं है, हॉटस्पॉट कर ले।
वो तो वाईफाई से
सिट डाउन। Success is not the key to happiness. Happiness is the key to success. If you love what are you doing, you will be successful. On this beautiful morning, I, Kulvinder Kaur, Assistant Professor in Physics, take this privilege to warmly welcome all our delegates on the first day of International Conference on Anthropogenic Effects on Environment and Biodiversity, Socio-Ecological Concerns. Now, I would like to call on stage our today's dignitaries, Dr. Gaurav Kumar, Dr. Anil Singh, Dr. T.K. Roy, our Honorable Chief Guest, Dr. Sujit Singh, Dr. Makhan Singh, and Dr. Vijay Vishwas. Please have your seats. Thank you, sir. And once again, warmly welcome. I want to explain to come on the stage. And now, I request Dr. Vijay Vishwas to please deliver a welcome speech to all our dignitaries and students. Thank you.
Good morning to all. First of all, I would like to thank each one of you for joining this two-day International Conference 22. It is KEEIADCON.22. This year we are starting this series of conferences with different institutions to promote research in young minds. So this was brief introduction of this conference, and I would like to thank all the dignitaries on stage. First of all, Dr. Sujit Singh ji, Principal, Rajendra College, Dr. Makhan Singh ji, Dr. Anil Singh from JNU Greek Chair, Shri T.K. Rai Saab, Dr. Gaurav Kumar ji. They all have spared time for this event, and exactly this is, I would like to say, this is a promotion to research and the biodiversity awareness. And in next scene, we will be looking for the detailed, complete developmental programs through these kind of activities. This morning, this is a very eventful time, and even though this conference is a marker of success of our institutions, it also follows us to meet some. With all those words, I am extremely delighted to pronounce the chief guest for the day, who is none other than education mind of this institution. And let us proceed for the program. This is all. Thank you so much.
Offering prayers to Almighty, we are having our customary college Shabad Gayan for seeking the choice blessings of God and to make this program a successful one. Thank you, music department team. Now, it's time to start with lamp lighting ceremony along with Saraswati Vandana. I request our guest of honor to please come on the stage for this ceremony. Please have your seats, sir. Before starting further, I would like to introduce our institute to all of you. Government Rajendra College is one of the oldest and renowned institutions in the Malwa region. It is affiliated to Punjabi University Patiala. It was founded in the memory of Maharaja Rajinder Singh of Patiala. One can find its reference in Encyclopedia Britannica, Volume 3, page 564. It was initially established as a primary school in the year 1904 and turned into an intermediate college in 1940. BSc classes were started in the year of 1962. At present, the college runs various undergraduate courses and post-graduation courses in physics, math, political science, history, and philosophy. Besides this, diploma and certificate courses are also there. This college is presently imparting education to more than 4,400 students. In 2016, college was accredited B+ grade by NAC. Of this college stocks more than 50,000 books and subscribes to several journals. The modern facilities like e-library, InflipNet membership are available to the students as well as to the faculty. Students over here are encouraged to participate actively in extracurricular activities. At present, college is under the supreme supervision of Principal Dr. Surjit Singh. Now, I request Dr. Vijay Vishwas. He is going to introduce KEEAD to all of you. Sir, please come on the stage. Thank you.
Good morning, all of you. Actually, KEEIAD is Kota Experts Environment Impact Assessment Division. Kota Experts was established as education company in 2012. Previously, in 2008, it started as institution to provide education to NEET and medical students, NEET and JEE students. Later on, we moved for those ideas which were untouched. Basically, the education was not reaching to those areas where it should reach, exactly the rural area. We made some plans and we made some proposals. Some proposals were sent to the state government, and later on, same idea education was introduced, that is known as meritorious school. There are 10 meritorious schools in Punjab, and that is exact simulated that idea which we proposed to the government, and it was like a dream was coming true for us, and there was our good luck in that project also. We were participating, and still we are part of this kind of education. Beyond that, we started school empowerment. In a school empowerment program, the main idea was students were not getting proper competitive education. Then we started this through our Kota Experts. Exactly, the program was School Plus program. So School Plus started, and for a long time I wanted to start a research division. In 2016 we started KEEIAD. It is basically working for those areas where environmental impacts are assessed, anthropogenic impacts are assessed. And anthropogenic means students are here from other backgrounds, so I should spell it in Hindi also. जो एक्टिविटीज़ हैं जिनका प्रभाव पूरे सिस्टम के ऊपर पड़ता है, यानी कि ह्यूमन एक्टिविटीज़, जैसे पंजाब की प्रॉब्लम पराली जलाने से लेकर है, और बहुत सारे वाटर पोल्यूशन के प्रॉब्लम है, ग्राउंड पोल्यूशन के प्रॉब्लम है, तो उसको लेकर के ये होता है. तो वी आर डूइंग अ लॉट अबाउट I can't say it's lot, it's just starting. So we are trying to do some for the environment and ecology. Exactly, whenever there is some burning or these kind of activities, so this affect a life in various way. Basically, it is when you burn waste in the ground, so you are killing millions of earthworms. You are killing millions of earthworms as well as snakes who are controlling the rat, and this is a whole chain. You have started I can say you have started a dominoes effect. What is dominoes effect? Dominoes, we know that pizza brand, but if you see the logo of that, so you will see there are small blocks which are called dominoes. जब आप dominoes एक के बाद एक रख देते हो and you एक को hit करोगे तो सारा गिर जाता है. It's like that. Exactly, whenever you are disturbing a single species, you are disturbing a whole system. There was a story, and it will be a long discussion, so I will discuss it later. This is whole we are doing with the KEEIAD, and this is one of the main effort that I was discussing with my friend Dr. Rajpal someday. So here was idea कि सर रिसर्च का थोड़ा सा हम लोग कुछ करें, and he introduced me to Makkan sir and then principal sir, and I am heartily thankful to them कि एक मिनट के बिना ही they said कि सर कब करना है, कोई इवेंट करते हैं, और the whole team started with मतलब बहुत ज़्यादा. तो this is actually it makes me emotional कि लोग इतना तरीके से इतने महीने से लगे हुए और बहुत कम समय के अंदर उन्होंने शुरू किया. थैंक यू.
Thank you, sir. Now, I would like to call our today's chief guest, Dr. Sarjeet Singh, for inaugural speech on this dais. Before that, I want to introduce all of you about our worthy principal. सर ने PhD की है फिज़िकल एजुकेशन सब्जेक्ट में. इसके अलावा सर ने नेशनल एंड ऑल इंडिया इंटरनेशनल यूनिवर्सिटी चैम्पियनशिप कबड्डी एंड वॉलीबॉल में बहुत सारे जो है मेडल्स वो लिए हैं. इसके अलावा बठिंडा में बहुत सी स्पोर्ट्स एसोसिएशन जो हैं उनके मेंबर भी रहे हैं हमारे सर. एंड 3 बार वर्ल्ड कप जो होता है कबड्डी का, उसमें इन्होंने एज आ ऑफिशिएटिंग पार्ट लिया है. और इसके अलावा जो सर हैं, जैसे आज हम पूरी जो वर्ल्ड है वो अर्थ डे सेलिब्रेट कर रहा है, और इस बार का जो हमारा थीम है दैट इज़ इन्वेस्ट इन अवर प्लैनेट. तो सर जो हैं वो बहुत ही इंटरेस्ट लेते हैं जो हमारी आज की इंटरनेशनल कॉन्फ्रेंस का भी टॉपिक है.
ਜਿਉਂ ਆਖਦਾ ਹਾਂ ਕਿ ਅੱਜ ਬੜਾ ਹੀ ਸੁਹਾਗਾ ਡੇ ਹੈ. ਅੱਜ ਉਹ ਦਿਨ ਹੈ ਜਿਹਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਅਸੀਂ ਆਪਣੀ ਜ਼ਿੰਦਗੀ ਨੂੰ ਬੜੇ ਆਰਾਮ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਜੀ ਸਕਦੇ ਹਾਂ. ਆਪਣੀ ਜ਼ਿੰਦਗੀ ਨੂੰ ਸਾਰੇ ਹੀ ਦੁੱਖ ਤਕਲੀਫਾਂ ਤੋਂ ਦੂਰ ਕਰਕੇ ਜੀ ਸਕਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਜੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਅੱਜ ਦੇ ਦਿਨ ਨੂੰ ਸਮਝ ਸਕੀਏ. ਅੱਜ ਵਰਲਡ ਅਰਥ ਡੇ ਆਪਾਂ ਸਾਰੇ ਜਾਣਦੇ ਹਾਂ 1970 ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਅਮਰੀਕਾ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਪਹਿਲੀ ਵਾਰ ਮਨਾਇਆ ਗਿਆ ਸੀ. ਉਹ ਦਿਨ ਅਰਥ ਕਿਹਨੂੰ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਆ? ਧਰਤੀ ਮਾਂ, ਸਾਡੀ ਮਾਂ ਦਾ ਦਿਨ. ਸਾਡੀ ਮਾਂ ਜਿਹਨੂੰ ਅਸੀਂ 1970 ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਯਾਦ ਕੀਤਾ, ਉਹਦਾ ਦਿਨ ਮਨਾਉਣਾ ਸ਼ੁਰੂ ਕੀਤਾ. 1990 ਤੱਕ ਅਸੀਂ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਲੱਗਦਾ 140 ਕੰਟਰੀਆਂ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਮਨਾਇਆ, ਤੇ ਅੱਜ ਸਾਰਾ ਹੀ ਵਰਲਡ ਇਹ ਦਿਨ ਨੂੰ ਮਨਾ ਰਿਹਾ ਹੈ. ਮਾਂ ਦਾ ਮਤਲਬ ਕੀ ਕਿ ਮਾਂ ਧਰਤੀ ਹੈ। ਧਰਤੀ ਨੇ ਹੀ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਇੱਥੇ ਆਉਣ ਦਾ ਮੌਕਾ ਦਿੱਤਾ ਹੈ, ਇੱਥੇ ਰਹਿਣ ਦਾ ਮੌਕਾ ਦਿੱਤਾ ਹੈ, ਪਰ ਅਸੀਂ ਧਰਤੀ ਮਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਸਾਡੀਆਂ ਗਲਤੀਆਂ ਕਰਕੇ ਉਸ ਜਗ੍ਹਾ ਤੇ ਲੈ ਗਏ ਜਿੱਥੋਂ ਮੁੜਨਾ ਬੜਾ ਮੁਸ਼ਕਲ ਹੈ। ਰੋਜ਼ ਸੋਚਦੇ ਹਾਂ, ਰੋਜ਼ ਆਪਣੇ ਆਪਣੇ ਵਿਚਾਰ ਪੇਸ਼ ਕਰਦੇ ਹਾਂ, ਪਰ ਅਸਲ ਪੁਆਇੰਟ ਤੇ ਨਹੀਂ ਆਏ। ਅਸਲ ਪੁਆਇੰਟ ਤੇ ਕੀ ਕਰਨਾ ਸੀ? ਧਰਤੀ ਮਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਬਚਾਉਣਾ ਸੀ ਜ਼ਹਿਰੀਲੀਆਂ ਗੈਸਾਂ ਤੋਂ, ਧਰਤੀ ਨੂੰ ਬਚਾਉਣਾ ਸੀ ਗੰਦਗੀ ਤੋਂ, ਪਰ ਅਸੀਂ ਤਾਂ ਪਰਵਾਹ ਹੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਕੀਤੀ। ਅੱਜ ਅਸੀਂ ਇਕੱਤਰ ਹੋਏ ਹਾਂ ਵੀ ਇਸ ਧਰਤੀ ਨੂੰ ਪੌਦੇ ਲਾ ਕੇ ਵਾਤਾਵਰਨ ਵਧੀਆ ਬਣਾ ਕੇ ਬਚਾਇਆ ਜਾ ਸਕੇ ਤੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਆਪਣੇ ਆਪ ਨੂੰ ਬਿਨਾਂ ਕਿਸੇ ਬਿਮਾਰੀ ਦੇ ਜੀਵਨ ਨੂੰ ਬਤੀਤ ਕਰ ਸਕੀਏ। ਪੌਦੇ ਲਾਉਣੇ ਭੁੱਲ ਗਏ ਹਾਂ ਸਾਰੇ ਆਪਾਂ। ਬਹੁਤ ਘੱਟ ਲੋਕ ਨੇ ਜੋ ਆ ਕੇ ਪੌਦਿਆਂ ਦਾ ਪ੍ਰਸ਼ਾਦ ਵੰਡਦੇ ਨੇ, ਬਹੁਤ ਘੱਟ ਲੋਕ ਨੇ ਜੋ ਆ ਕੇ ਪੌਦਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਪਾਣੀ ਪਾਉਂਦੇ ਨੇ। ਪਰ ਜੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਸਾਰੇ ਲੱਗ ਜਾਈਏ, ਸਾਰੇ ਉਸ ਪਲਾਸਟਿਕ ਨੂੰ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਗਲਦਾ ਹੀ ਨਹੀਂ, ਪਿੱਛੇ ਜੇ ਮੈਂ ਪੜ੍ਹ ਰਿਹਾ ਸੀ 450 ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਆ ਪਲਾਸਟਿਕ ਦੀ 450 ਸਾਲਾਂ ਬਾਅਦ ਗਲਦੀ ਹੈ ਜੇ ਰੱਖੀ ਪਈ ਹੋਵੇ। ਤੇ ਉਹ ਪਲਾਸਟਿਕ ਦੀ ਬੋਤਲ ਅਸੀਂ ਚਲਾ ਕੇ ਮਾਰਦੇ ਹਾਂ, ਪਲਾਸਟਿਕ ਦੇ ਲਿਫਾਫੇ ਚਲਾ ਕੇ ਮਾਰਦੇ ਹਾਂ, ਹੋਰ ਕਈ ਜਿਹੜੀਆਂ ਚੀਜ਼ਾਂ ਜਿਹੜੀਆਂ ਆਪਾਂ ਚਲਾ ਕੇ ਮਾਰਦੇ ਨੇ ਤੇ ਉਹ ਗਲਦੀਆਂ ਨਹੀਂ। ਜਦੋਂ ਆਪਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਅੱਗ ਲਾਉਣੇ ਤੇ ਇੰਨੀ ਜ਼ਹਿਰੀਲੀ ਗੈਸ ਨਿਕਲਦੀ ਆ ਉਹਦੇ ਵਿੱਚੋਂ, ਤੇ ਅੱਗ ਲਾਉਣ ਲੱਗੇ ਆਪਾਂ ਮਿੰਟ ਲਾਉਣੇ ਆ ਸਾਰੇ ਵੀ ਲਾ ਦਿਓ, ਸਫਾਈ ਹੋ ਜੂ। ਤੇ ਜਿਹਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਸਾਡਾ ਵਾਤਾਵਰਨ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਹੈਗਾ ਸਾਰਾ ਹੀ ਉਹ ਤਰੀਕੇ ਨਾਲ ਆਪਣੇ ਸਾਹਮਣੇ ਪੇਸ਼ ਆਉਂਦਾ ਹੈ। ਉਹ ਬਿਮਾਰੀਆਂ ਦਾ ਭੰਡਾਰ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਪੇਸ਼ ਆਉਂਦਾ ਹੈ ਜਿਹੜੀਆਂ ਦਾ ਕਿਤੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਨਾਂ ਵੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਸੁਣਿਆ ਸੀ। ਨਿੱਕੇ ਨਿੱਕੇ ਬੱਚਿਆਂ ਦੇ ਐਨਕਾਂ ਲੱਗ ਗਈਆਂ, ਜੰਮਦੇ ਬੱਚਿਆਂ ਦੇ, ਤੇ ਨਿੱਕੇ ਨਿੱਕੇ ਬੱਚਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਉਹ ਬਿਮਾਰੀਆਂ ਲੱਗ ਗਈਆਂ ਜਿਹੜੀਆਂ ਵੱਡੀ ਉਮਰ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਕਿਤੇ ਸੁਣਦੇ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਸੀਗੇ ਜਦੋਂ ਬੰਦੇ ਨੇ ਆਪਣੀ ਉਮਰ ਪੂਰੀ ਕਰਕੇ ਜਾਣਾ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਸੀ। ਤੇ ਅੱਜ ਉਹ ਬਿਮਾਰੀਆਂ ਨਿੱਕੇ ਨਿੱਕੇ ਬੱਚਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ, ਕਿਸੇ ਦੇ ਮੂੰਹ ਦੇ ਉੱਤੇ ਰੌਣਕ ਨਹੀਂ। ਕਿਉਂ ਨਹੀਂ? ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਅਸੀਂ ਆਪਣੀ ਸਿਹਤ ਵੱਲ, ਆਪਣੇ ਆਲੇ ਦੁਆਲੇ ਵੱਲ ਧਿਆਨ ਨਹੀਂ ਦਿੱਤਾ। ਤੇ ਅੱਜ ਰਜਿੰਦਰਾ ਕਾਲਜ ਇੱਕ ਉਹ ਦਿਨ ਮਨਾ ਰਿਹਾ ਹੈ, ਵਡਭਾਗਾ ਦਿਨ ਹੈ। ਮੈਂ ਕਹਿੰਦਾ ਹਰ ਰੋਜ਼ ਮਨਾਉਣਾ ਚਾਹੀਦਾ ਹੈ। ਉੱਠਣ ਲੱਗਿਆਂ, ਪੈਣ ਲੱਗਿਆਂ, ਬੈਠਣ ਲੱਗਿਆਂ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਮਨਾਉਣਾ ਚਾਹੀਦਾ ਹੈ। ਵਾਤਾਵਰਨ ਸਾਡੇ ਯਾਦ ਹੋਵੇ। ਅਸੀਂ ਜਦੋਂ ਵੀ ਸੋਚੀਏ ਵਾਤਾਵਰਨ ਬਾਰੇ ਸੋਚੀਏ, ਭਾਵੇਂ ਉਹ ਵਾਤਾਵਰਨ ਆਵਾਜ਼ ਦਾ ਹੈ, ਭਾਵੇਂ ਵਾਤਾਵਰਨ ਸੋਚਦਾ ਹੈ। ਸੋਚ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਵੀ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਹੈਗਾ ਆਪਣੇ ਆਪ ਨੂੰ ਵਾਤਾਵਰਨ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਪੇਸ਼ ਕਰ ਸਕਦੇ ਹੋ। ਜੇ ਤੁਹਾਡੀ ਸੋਚ ਮਾੜੀ ਹੈ ਤਾਂ ਵਾਤਾਵਰਨ ਸਮਝ ਲਓ ਮਾੜਾ ਹੈ। ਇਹਨੂੰ ਪੋਜ਼ਿਟਿਵ ਲਿਆਉਣ ਲਈ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਪੌਦਿਆਂ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਪਿਆਰ ਕਰਨਾ ਪੈਂਦਾ ਹੈ, ਸਾਨੂੰ ਆਪਣੀਆਂ ਭਾਵਨਾਵਾਂ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਪਿਆਰ ਕਰਨਾ ਪੈਂਦਾ ਹੈ। ਤਾਂ ਅੱਜ ਅਸੀਂ ਉਸ ਦਿਨ ਨੂੰ ਮਨਾ ਰਹੇ ਹਾਂ। ਤੇ ਮੈਂ ਬਹੁਤਾ ਸਮਾਂ ਨਾ ਲੈਂਦਾ ਹੋਇਆ ਮੈਂ ਸਾਰੇ ਹੀ ਐਸੋਸੀਏਸ਼ਨ ਦਾ ਬਹੁਤ ਧੰਨਵਾਦ ਕਰਦਾ ਹਾਂ, ਸਾਡੇ ਫਿਜ਼ਿਕਸ ਡਿਪਾਰਟਮੈਂਟ ਦਾ ਬਹੁਤ ਧੰਨਵਾਦ ਕਰਦਾ ਹਾਂ, ਸਾਰੇ ਬੱਚਿਆਂ ਦਾ ਬਹੁਤ ਧੰਨਵਾਦ ਕਰਦਾ ਹਾਂ ਕਿ ਅੱਜ ਅਸੀਂ ਉਹ ਵਾਤਾਵਰਨ ਨੂੰ ਮਨਾ ਰਹੇ ਹਾਂ। ਤੇ ਪ੍ਰਮਾਤਮਾ ਸਾਡੇ ਤੇ ਰਹਿਮਤ ਰੱਖੇ। ਹਮੇਸ਼ਾ ਅਸੀਂ ਇਸ ਰਜਿੰਦਰਾ ਹੀ ਨਹੀਂ, ਇਹ ਬਠਿੰਡਾ ਹੀ ਨਹੀਂ, ਵਰਲਡ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਅਸੀਂ ਜਿੱਥੇ ਵੀ ਜਾਈਏ, ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਅਸੀਂ ਨੌਕਰੀਆਂ ਕਰਨੀਆਂ, ਕਿਸੇ ਨੇ ਇੱਥੇ ਕਰਨੀ ਹੈ, ਕਿਸੇ ਨੇ ਬਾਹਰਲੇ ਕੰਟਰੀ 'ਚ ਜਾ ਕੇ ਕਰਨੀ ਹੈ। ਜਿੱਥੇ ਵੀ ਜਾਈਏ ਤੇ ਵਾਤਾਵਰਨ ਸਾਡੇ ਮਨ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਹੋਵੇ। ਅਸੀਂ ਜਦੋਂ ਉੱਠ ਕੇ ਸਤਿ ਸ੍ਰੀ ਅਕਾਲ ਕਰਨ ਤੋਂ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਵਾਤਾਵਰਨ ਨੂੰ ਪਿਆਰ ਕਰੀਏ। ਬਾਹਰ ਜਾਈਏ, ਜਾ ਕੇ ਦੇਖੀਏ ਵੀ ਸਾਡਾ ਘਾਹ ਦੇ ਉੱਤੇ ਲੱਗਿਆ ਪੌਦਾ, ਗਮਲੇ ਵਾਲਾ ਪੌਦਾ, ਜਾਂ ਸਾਡਾ ਵਿਚਾਰ ਠੀਕ ਠਾਕ ਹੈ, ਬਿਲਕੁਲ ਠੀਕ ਹੈ, ਤਾਂ ਅਸੀਂ ਆਪਣੇ ਆਪ ਨੂੰ ਵਧੀਆ ਕਾਬਲ ਇਨਸਾਨ ਬਣਾ ਸਕਾਂਗੇ ਤੇ ਲੋਕਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਬਿਮਾਰੀਆਂ ਤੋਂ ਬਚਾ ਸਕਾਂਗੇ ਜਿਹੜੀਆਂ ਬਿਮਾਰੀਆਂ ਅੱਜ ਆਪਾਂ ਦੇਖ ਰਹੇ ਹਾਂ। ਤੇ ਆਪਣੇ ਆਪ ਨੂੰ ਖੁਸ਼ ਰੱਖ ਸਕਾਂਗੇ। ਖੁਸ਼ ਹੋਵਾਂਗੇ ਤਾਂ ਅਸੀਂ ਆਪਣੇ ਏਮ ਨੂੰ ਪੂਰਾ ਕਰ ਸਕਦੇ ਹਾਂ। ਏਮ ਪੂਰਾ ਹੋ ਗਿਆ ਤਾਂ ਆਪਣਾ ਜੀਵਨ ਵਧੀਆ ਬਤੀਤ ਕਰ ਸਕਦੇ ਹਾਂ। ਜੀਵਨ ਵਧੀਆ ਬਤੀਤ ਹੋਊਗਾ, ਆਪਾਂ ਤੋਂ ਕੋਈ ਹੋਰ ਸਿੱਖ ਸਕਦਾ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਤੂੰ ਜੀਵਨ ਆਪਣਾ ਵਧੀਆ ਬਤੀਤ ਕਿਵੇਂ ਕਰਦਾ ਹੈ। ਪਿੱਛੇ ਜੇ ਬੜੀ ਵਧੀਆ ਗੱਲ ਹੋਈ, ਮੇਰੇ ਕੋਲੇ ਜਿਵੇਂ 12 ਕਾਲਜ ਸੀ ਤੇ ਬਰਜਿੰਦਰਾ ਕਾਲਜ ਫਰੀਦਕੋਟ ਸੀ ਮੇਰੇ ਕੋਲੇ, ਉਸ ਕਾਲ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਭਾਵੇਂ ਮੈਂ ਘੱਟ ਜਾਂਦਾ ਸੀ ਪਰ ਉੱਥੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਕੰਮ ਕਰਾਇਆ ਬਹੁਤ। ਉਹੀ ਪੌਦਿਆਂ ਵਾਲਾ ਕੰਮ ਇੱਥੋਂ ਵਾਲਾ ਅਸੀਂ ਕਰਾਇਆ। ਪੌਦੇ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਵੀ ਬਹੁਤ ਲੱਗੇ ਸੀ, ਹੋਰ ਲਾਏ, ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਬੜੇ ਵਧੀਆ ਤਰੀਕੇ ਨਾਲ ਅਸੀਂ ਪੇਸ਼ ਕੀਤਾ। ਹੋਇਆ ਕਿ ਉੱਥੇ ਇਲੈਕਸ਼ਨ ਚੱਲਦੀ ਸੀ, ਆਪਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਸਾਰਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਪਤਾ ਇਲੈਕਸ਼ਨ ਬਾਰੇ। ਉੱਥੇ ਡੀਸੀ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਆਉਂਦੇ ਸੀ ਤੇ ਡੀਸੀ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਨੇ ਉਸ ਕਾਲਜ ਨੂੰ ਰਿਕਮੈਂਡ ਕੀਤਾ ਤੇ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਉਹ ਅਵਾਰਡ ਦਿੱਤਾ ਗਿਆ, ਗ੍ਰੀਨ ਅਵਾਰਡ ਵਰਜਿੰਦਰਾ ਕਾਲਜ ਨੂੰ। ਉਹ ਮੇਰੇ ਨਾਂ ਤੇ ਆਇਆ ਅਵਾਰਡ, ਪ੍ਰਿੰਸੀਪਲ ਦਾ ਨਾਮ ਲਿਖਿਆ ਹੋਇਆ, ਵਰਜਿੰਦਰਾ ਕਾਲਜ ਚੁਣਿਆ ਗਿਆ ਪੰਜਾਬ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ। ਚੰਡੀਗੜ੍ਹ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਉਹ ਅਵਾਰਡ ਮਿਲਿਆ, ਹੁਣੇ ਮਿਲਿਆ ਸਿਚਰਵਾਰ ਨੂੰ ਪਿੱਛੇ ਜੀ। ਬੜੀ ਵਧੀਆ ਗੱਲ ਹੈ। ਮੈਂ ਕਹਿੰਦਾ ਵੀ ਸਾਡਾ ਇਹ ਰਜਿੰਦਰਾ ਕਾਲਜ ਵੀ ਕੋਈ ਘੱਟ ਨਹੀਂ। ਜੇ ਇੱਥੇ ਕੋਈ ਕੰਪੀਟੀਸ਼ਨ ਜੇ ਹੋਊਗਾ ਤਾਂ ਸਾਡੇ ਇਸ ਰਜਿੰਦਰਾ ਕਾਲਜ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਲੱਗਦਾ ਇੰਨੇ ਪੌਦੇ ਹੋਰ ਕਿਸੇ ਕਾਲਜ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ, ਇੰਸਟੀਚਿਊਟ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਨਹੀਂ ਜਿੰਨੇ ਸਾਡੇ ਕਾਲਜ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਹੈ। ਕਿ ਅਸੀਂ ਜਿੰਨੀ ਸਾਂਭ ਸੰਭਾਲ ਕਰਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਤੇ ਅਵਾਰਡ ਉਹ ਸਾਡਾ, ਮੈਨੂੰ ਲੱਗਦਾ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਵੀ ਮਿਲੂਗਾ ਜਦੋਂ ਵੀ ਕੋਈ ਕੰਪੀਟੀਸ਼ਨ ਹੋਊਗਾ। ਤੇ ਉਹ ਮਿਲੂ ਕਿਹਦੇ ਕਰਕੇ? ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਸਾਰਿਆਂ ਕਰਕੇ। ਸਾਰਿਆਂ ਦਾ ਸਹਿਯੋਗ ਚਾਹੀਦਾ ਹੈ, ਜ਼ਰੂਰ ਮਿਲੂਗਾ ਆਪਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਸਾਰਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ। ਸੋ ਮੈਂ ਇੰਨਾ ਕਹਿੰਦਾ ਹੋਇਆ ਇੱਕ ਵਾਰ ਫੇਰ ਸਾਰੀ ਟੀਮ ਦਾ ਧੰਨਵਾਦ ਕਰਦਾ ਹਾਂ ਤੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਸਾਰੇ ਹੀ ਦਿਲੋਂ ਇਸ ਨੂੰ ਅਟੈਂਡ ਕਰਾਂਗੇ। 2 ਦਿਨ ਦੀ ਹੈ, ਅਟੈਂਡ ਕਰਾਂਗੇ ਤੇ 2 ਦਿਨ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਅਟੈਂਡ ਕੀਤੀ ਹੈ ਸਾਡੀ ਲਾਈਫ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਇੱਕ ਨਿਖੜਵਾਂ ਅੰਗ ਬਣ ਕੇ ਸਾਹਮਣੇ ਆਊਗੀ। ਇੰਨਾ ਕਹਿੰਦਾ ਹੋਇਆ ਸਭ ਦਾ ਫਿਰ ਇੱਕ ਵਾਰ ਧੰਨਵਾਦ ਕਰਦਾ। ਥੈਂਕ ਯੂ।
Thank you, sir, for your insightful thoughts. Now, today, on this World Earth Day, we are going to release a calendar. We are honored as our chief guest will release these calendars. Kumar sir, please come on the stage. Vishpal sir, please come on the stage. How sir? Manjeet sir, please. Jha sir and Taruna ma'am, please come on the stage. Gagan ma'am. Okay. Now, it's time to welcome our honorable chief guest and Dr. T.K. Roy, Dr. Anil Singh and Dr. Gaurav Kumar and Dr. Makhan Singh. I request Dr. Vijay Vishwas sir to please proceed. Dr. Harjinder Singh Maud, please join us. Dr. Anil Singh. Dr. Makhan Singh. Dr. Gaurav Kumar. Dr. Gaurav Kumar. Thank you, sir. Dr. Harjinder Singh Maud. Now, I would like to call Dr. Tanvi Bhatia for further proceedings. Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Kulvinder. Namaste and a very warm good afternoon to all the dignitaries who are seated on the dais, the HODs, the faculties of the different departments, the administrative staff, and the lovely students who are the audience sitting in front of me. Can we have a big round of applause for everyone who's there in the gathering? It's a lovely day today, and we all are gathered here to discuss the changing nature of interactions between the environment and the human beings. And in this stream, our next speaker is Dr. Anil Kumar Singh. Dr. Anil Kumar Singh, he started his academic journey from MGP Rohilkhand University, Bareilly, and thereafter he went to CCS University, Meerut, then University of Ioannina, Greece, and Aristotle University of Thessaloniki, Greece. He holds PhD, MBA, and MA degrees and has attended courses in modern Greek languages, literature, and culture studies at different prestigious universities in India as well as Greece. He has received multiple scholarships from ICHR, Government of India, and State Scholarship Foundation, Government of Greece, for his academic research. He's also the managing editor of Journal of People's History Society, Jan Itihas, and is also associated with International Journal of Indian Society for Greek and Roman Studies, known as Yavanika, as an editor. He has published many research papers and articles in reputed journals and has also attended as well as organized many national and international seminars and conferences. He worked as principal and lecturer at Nehtar Degree College, Bijnor, senior lecturer at Faridabad Institute of Technology. He was also the IKY postdoctoral research scholar at University of Ioannina, Greece, assistant professor at Deep Institute of Engineering and Technology and Group Institutions, NU, Mewat. Presently, he is working as an assistant professor at the Greek chair at Jawaharlal Nehru University, New Delhi. He's also serving JNU as coordinator of the Linguistic Empowerment Cell and National Service Scheme, NSS. His latest books are Dialogue of Civilizations, India and Greece, which was published by RN Books International, and one of his recent books, which came out, I think, few days back, Hindu Dharm Ke Aadhar Tattva, which is published by the Indo-Hellenic Research Center, New Delhi. He's also the founder, president of Indo-Hellenic Research Center, an organization. It's a research organization which is based in Delhi, which is involved in research on the interaction between Indian and Greek civilization and its emerging forms. Now I'll invite Dr. Anil Kumar Singh to the podium for his lecture. So you are welcome.
बहुत धन्यवाद तन्वी जी। सभी को नमस्कार। बच्चों को बहुत स्नेह है। एमएससी के स्टूडेंट्स हैं, मुझे बताया गया यहाँ पर बैठे हैं, तो आपके लिए सीखने का दिन है, बहुत महत्वपूर्ण दिन है। मैं बहुत धन्यवाद देता हूँ ऑर्गेनाइजर्स को, इस कॉलेज को, गवर्नमेंट राजेंद्र डिग्री कॉलेज भटिंडा को, कि जिन्होंने एक ऐसा खूबसूरत प्रोग्राम आज रखा है जो रिसर्च के विविध आयामों को तो सामने लाएगा ही लाएगा, लेकिन इस क्षेत्र के छात्रों को प्रोत्साहित करेगा शोध की बारीकियां समझने के लिए, और किसी विषय को शोध करके उसको उपयोगी कैसे बनाया जाता है समाज के लिए, इस बारे में मोटिवेट करने, एजुकेट करने का ये एक मौका रहेगा 2 दिन का। तो आप सभी लोग बधाई के पात्र हैं और आप सभी इस मौके का भरपूर लाभ उठाएंगे, ऐसा मेरा मानना है। मैं उत्तर प्रदेश का रहने वाला हूँ। उत्तर प्रदेश में ही मेरी शिक्षा दीक्षा ज़्यादातर हुई है और उसके बाद कुछ दिनों यूरोप में रहा, लेकिन जहाँ भी रहा पंजाब के प्रति मेरा प्रेम हर जगह कायम रहा। यहाँ तक कि यूनिवर्सिटी ऑफ यानिना में जब मेरा अंतिम दिन था मेरी पढ़ाई का, तो वहाँ एक कार्यक्रम हुआ, तो वहाँ एक पंजाबी गीत गाया गया, उस पर ग्रीक लोगों ने डांस किया। तो पंजाब के प्रति मेरा प्रेम अगाध है, और जब भी मैं दिल्ली से इधर चलता हूँ तो पता नहीं कुछ होने लगता है, अंदर खून में रवानगी बढ़ जाती है। और उसकी वजह यह है कि मैं इतिहास का विद्यार्थी रहा हूँ, और हर जगह का जो इतिहास होता है वही उसके व्यक्तियों के व्यक्तित्व में झलकता है। और आपका इतिहास विशिष्ट है, बहुत विशिष्ट है, अति विशिष्ट मैं मानता हूँ। दुनिया में बहुत कम ऐसी जगह हैं जहाँ ऐसा एनवायरनमेंट है, ऐसी धरती है, ऐसी नदियाँ हैं जिस क्षेत्र में ज्ञान का समुंदर बहा है शुरू से, वैदिक काल से। अगर आप वैदिक दुनिया को देखें, जहाँ ऋग्वेद और वेद लिखे गए, उपनिषद लिखे गए, तो वो धरती पंजाब की धरती है। पंजाब को आप सिर्फ आज के पंजाब के तौर पे मत देखिए, बल्कि उस पंजाब के तौर पे देखिए जो कि भारत से शुरू होकर पाकिस्तान तक जाता है। इस उत्तर हिमालयन वैली में, हिमालय और बलूचिस्तान के पहाड़ों के बीच में जो सबसे समृद्ध क्षेत्र कोई है तो आपका पंजाब है। हम उसको अनडिवाइडेड पंजाब के तौर पे भी, जो आज आधा पाकिस्तान की तरफ चला गया है, हम उसको भी देखें, क्योंकि 1947 में ये डिवीज़न हुआ। उससे पहले जिस सोने की चिड़िया के नाम पे भारत को देखा जाता था, वो क्षेत्र भी यही क्षेत्र है। दुनिया में जितनी भी शक्तियां भारत की तरफ आकर्षित हुई और जिन्होंने भारत की तरफ मूव किया, अलेक्जेंडर से लेके, जिसके यानिना, जहां मैं जिस यूनिवर्सिटी में पढ़ता था, वो अलेक्जेंडर की माँ का घर था, मायका जिसको कहते हैं, अलेक्जेंडर की नानी का घर, जिस यूनिवर्सिटी में मैंने अपनी पोस्ट डॉक्टरल रिसर्च की है। तो वहाँ भी जब मैं बैठता था तो अलेक्जेंडर के बारे में अगर सोचता था तो ये याद आता था कि वो इसी धरती की कहानियाँ अपने गुरु अरस्तु से सुन सुन के इतना प्रभावित हुआ कि वो ईरान जैसा जो दुनिया का सबसे बड़ा एम्पायर उस समय था, उसको हराने के बाद उसकी राजधानी में नहीं रुका, बल्कि वो पंजाब की सीमा पे आ गया, इस धरती को खोजते हुए कि वो ऐसी समृद्धशाली जगह कौन सी है जहाँ पे मुझे कुछ शांति मिलेगी, मुझे कुछ अनुभव मिलेगा, स्पिरिचुअल अनुभव मिलेगा। तो उसने वो राजधानी छोड़ दी और वो उस क्षेत्र की तलाश में निकला जो आपका क्षेत्र है, पंजाब का क्षेत्र है। तो आपको ये इस जगह के महत्व को समझना चाहिए। इसका एक इतिहास है, और उसको समझते हुए यहाँ पर जो भी एकेडमिक प्रोग्राम होता है, जो भी कार्यक्रम होता है, जो भी एकेडमिक डिस्कोर्स तय किया जाता है, उसमें अपनी भूमिका निश्चित करनी चाहिए, क्योंकि आपके कंधों पे ना सिर्फ इतिहास का दायित्व है, बल्कि इस फर्टिलिटी कैपेसिटी रखने वाली धरती दुनिया में कोई नहीं है। और यही ये धरती, इसका जो उपजाऊपन है, इसका जो देने की शक्ति है, इसीलिए यहाँ शक्तियाँ आकर्षित होती रही हैं, दुनिया भर से आती रही हैं। इसके बैलेंस में जंगलों को, जमीन को, दरिया को, पॉन्ड्स को, पेड़ों को, इन सब की केयर करना, एक्सट्रीम केयर करना, ये जो है विषय है हमारे, इन पे हमें बातचीत करनी है। और ये चिंता इस धरती पे हमेशा से होती रही है। 6ठी शताब्दी BC में जब दो बहुत बड़े धर्मों का उदय हुआ दुनिया में, उनके दो लोग यहाँ मौजूद थे, महावीर जैन और महात्मा बुद्ध। वो दोनों भी प्रकृति की बहुत केयर करते थे। जैन धर्म में तो आज भी कोई जैन मुनि अगर आगे जा रहा होता है तो आगे सड़क पे झाड़ू लगाते हुए जाता है, मुंह पे कपड़ा बांधा रहता है, दिगंबर जो महात्मा होते हैं। छोटे से छोटे जीव की चिंता करना, जीव पैर के नीचे ना आ जाए इसकी चिंता करना, ये धर्म के अनुसार है, उनके जीवन के आचरण में है। और ऐसा ही कुछ हमें गुरु नानक देव ने बताया कि हमें अपनी प्रकृति के साथ सामंजस्य बनाते हुए चलना है। तो मैं चूंकि विज्ञान का छात्र नहीं हूं, वैज्ञानिक पहलुओं पे, तकनीकी पहलुओं पे वैज्ञानिक और तकनीकी के जो विशेषज्ञ हैं वो बात करेंगे। मैं समाज विज्ञान का, आर्ट्स का, ह्यूमैनिटीज का छात्र होने के नाते जो उसके सामाजिक व्यक्तिक पक्ष हैं उन पे मैं ये कहता हूं कि इसको धर्म का हिस्सा मानिए। मानव धर्म का ये हिस्सा है कि वो प्रकृति प्रदत्त शक्तियों में संतुलन स्थापित करते हुए प्रकृति की रक्षा करे, दोनों में एक सामंजस्य बनाते हुए सहजीविता का भाव रखते हुए हम आगे बढ़ेंगे। तो जो आज चैलेंजेज हैं, पॉल्यूशन के चैलेंजेज हैं, हर तरह का पॉल्यूशन है, एयर पॉल्यूशन, वाटर पॉल्यूशन, मैग्नेटिक फील्ड का पॉल्यूशन, आपके हाथ में मोबाइल फोन्स हैं, इनसे भी एक तरह का पॉल्यूशन होता है, कैंसर बढ़ रहा है। ये सारे चीज़ें जो हैं इस संगोष्ठी में डिस्कस की जाएंगी, इनके सॉल्यूशन सुझाए जाएंगे। तो एक बार पुनः आपका स्वागत करते हुए, आपका आभार व्यक्त करते हुए मैं अपनी वाणी को विराम देता हूँ, सबको शुभकामनाएं देता हूँ। ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा सीखिए और अपने मानव होने के, मानव जीवन होने की उपयोगिता को सार्थक करिए। धन्यवाद।
थैंक यू डॉक्टर सिंह, आपने बहुत साफ, सरल और मीठे शब्दों में बच्चों को मोटिवेट किया। और जिस धरती पर हम आज खड़े हैं, पंजाब, उसके बारे में बताया, लोगों को कोशिश की उनके जड़ों से जोड़कर आगे किस रास्ते पर उनको चलना है ये बताने की। उसके लिए बहुत शुक्रिया आपका। Our next speaker is Dr. Ram Karan. I'll request to please play his PPT. So Dr. Ram Karan is with us. There's one PPT about his work. Please don't mind this disturbance. This is needed. Otherwise, you will not be able to, listen to the lecture of Dr. Ram Karan. We are doing this for you. So finally, after all the technical glitches, we have Dr. Ram Karan with us. Before moving on to his lecture, I would like to give a brief introduction about his profile, about his life and how he started, where he went, and at what place he's working at now and what kind of work that he's doing. So Dr. Ram Karan, presently he's a senior research scientist at King Abdullah University of Science and Technology, and he's an experienced research scientist who has demonstrated history of working in the reputed international universities as well as institutes. His areas of expertise are microbiology, molecular biology, biochemistry, and bioengineering. When we look at his life, he started his academic, educational career from a small government primary school in Theodhi, and thereafter he went to do his schooling from Inter-College Sarurpur. After that, he did his graduation from JAV College, Baroda, and then he went to IIT Delhi, and from there he moved to University of Maryland, USA, and National Institute of Health. Now, looking at his research work and collaborations, he is involved in securing more than $4 million of funding from reputed organizations such as NASA, NIH, NSF, BMGF, KAUST. I hope it's visible to you on the screen. Yes. He has published around 43 articles in reputed journals, and he has published 2 books. And when we look at his patents, he has 3 patents to his credits. Citations, he has around 1181 citations. His I-10 index is 16, H index is 24. He continuously publishes in reputed Hindi as well as English newspapers. I hope you can see it on your screen. And there are so many projects of his where he's involved with NASA, and he has also received a Research Excellence Award from the Saudi government, and he's also an international certified career coach. There's a lot more to talk about Dr. Ram Karan, and I think we can spare and spend few more minutes if we want, but I would not like to do that because otherwise.
I'm not able to hear you. I really don't know what's going on there. So I'm not able to hear you.
Okay, sir, please wait. Please wait because we are able to hear you clearly, but I think there's a problem of voice from our side.
Farhana, can I hear? Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. I can hear you, but I can't hear what's going on there.
Actually, I really don't know. So let me know when I need to start. I really don't know. So please let me know.
Okay, sir. I will.
नहीं मैम, अभी उन्हें कुछ भी नहीं सुन रहा होगा क्योंकि आवाज़
Sir, unmute yourself. Your audio is not. Unmute yourself.
So thank you so much because there was some, it's always technical glitch. First of all, Sat Sri Akal and Dhanwad that you give me this opportunity. So, today is Earth Day. So this is one of the best day to talk about the sustainable future. I think all of you know what is sustainable future. And first, before going ahead, I really want to thank all the organizer, Gaurav ji, Sujit ji, Ravi ji, Vijay ji, Anil ji, because this, like why I want to appreciate that 2 reasons. First reason is India, you can see nearly 85% of higher education candidates not equipped to take career decision. They don't know what's going on in the world. They don't know what's going on even in India. Only having a good degree, having a good marks, not enough these days. Nowadays, we need to learn that's what's going on around. And I think these kind of workshop or conferences, we must again thanks all the organizers that you get this opportunity sitting in Punjab that you are able to see the whole world. So with this kind of things, you can learn that what the requirement of tomorrow. The requirement of tomorrow is get more from the less. More from the less in a sustainable manner. Like without harming the environment, doing the development. That is the requirement of tomorrow. That's the requirement of today. So with that note, I really want to thanks again and to the organizers. So now I want to start my scientific talk. So hold on, I'm going to just hold your seat. I'm going to take you to Mars. I will take you to the deepest place in the on the Mariana Trench, and I will take you some planets. So I hope you will enjoy it. So we will talk about sustainable future, myth or truth. Sustainable future is the biggest from the and today is today Earth Day, so that's why it's very relevant today. Living on another planet, is it possible? And what is the key of a sustainable tomorrow? And super heroes of sustainable tomorrow, and then I love to talk more about the discussion. So please feel free to talk. I understand it to be Punjabi also, and I'm more comfortable in Hindi or English. So please feel free to ask any question. So I started about I think it's trees. Okay. So I want to give you an opportunity that you can come in international university. I know person I could not see. I hope organizer told about that I'm working in international university, and I get the chance to work more than 8 institutes in all over the world, starting from IIT Delhi, China, USA, Italy, Romania, Japan, France, Germany, Saudi Arabia. So good thing is I have some offer for you that you can work with us as a teaching student, even if you are in bachelor's or in master's. You can do masters with us. You can do PhD, and of course you have PhD postdoc fellowship also. The good part is even if you come as a teaching faculty with us, we will give you around 75,000 Indian rupees per month and 12 tickets. If you come as a master degree, we will give you around 1 lakh rupees per month, and you get the chance to work as a last 2 decades. So what research says? Research says that this coronavirus turned out to be decade old. It was already okay. So I hope you can hear me. You can see my screen, right? Anyone? Can you please tell you can see my screen, right?
Yes, sir, yes, it's visible. Yes.
Yes, please tell that audience also able to see my screen properly. Okay, perfect.
Yes, sir. Yes.
cold, very thin, toxic, water frozen solid, high radiation, low gravity, and long way to home and no soap, right? So it's very, very, very tough. So now you can see here that it's very hard to get life under this position, this kind of environment. And the example is, you know, people eat egg in their breakfast. This is the simplest form of protein, and we know that it denatures with heat, pressure, pH, and salt or organic solvent. विद्यालय में, कितना about राजस्थान, बहुत सारी जगह इसके जहाँ पे पानी नहीं है, डेजर्ट है, तो ये जो माइक्रोब्स होते हैं, they are able to help them to provide amino acids, sugars, auxins to increase the root. So we are doing this kind of thing, what that we are providing the microbes those are helping plants to grow. Even they are able to kill the fungi those are degrading plants. और हम इनको ब्यूटी क्रीम्स में यूज कर रहे हैं. आप सोच सकते हैं कि these microbes are living very harsh environment. और ऐसी अगर हम इनकी प्रोटीन जो होती है, जो प्रोटीन हेल्प करती है हमें सेव करने में, इन माइक्रोब्स को सेव करने में, हमने उन प्रोटीन को निकाला और फेस क्रीम में मिला दिया. आप देख सकते हैं कि ये प्रोटीन पीपीएम लेवल पे हमारी फेस स्किन को यूवी से, रेडिएशन से, हीट शॉक से इनको बचाती है और हमें यंग बना के रख सकती है. इट्स अ बिग मार्केट दीस डेज. सो ये आइडिया देने का था कि नॉट ओनली रिसर्च, कि आप जो यंग यूथ है यहाँ पे 2000 बीएससी मास्टर रिसर्च स्कॉलर, दे कैन थिंक दैट हाउ यू कैन अप्लाई योर रिसर्च इन डिफरेंट एस्पेक्ट्स. आई विल गो डीप. So just I want to end up with this slide that show us the superhero for sustainable tomorrow. क्योंकि ये जस्ट स्टार्टेड, ये जो रिसर्च है इसमें बहुत ज़्यादा रिसर्च अभी भी नहीं हो रही है, बहुत स्मॉल ग्रुप है हमारे जैसा जो इस पर रिसर्च कर रहा है. और आप देख सकते हैं कि इस तरह के माइक्रोब्स 99.99% 0.001% ओनली डिस्कवर्ड, और 0.001% ने जो मैंने लास्ट स्लाइड दिखाई है उन्होंने इतना इम्पैक्ट डाला है. आप देख सकते हैं कि if you can discover in more how they can impact. So I can say that these kind of research is the basically the future of tomorrow. Or not only this kind of research, आप और हम, that outlook is that कि आप देखिए जो मैकेनिकल इंजीनियर है, जो फिजिसिस्ट है, जो सोलर पैनल बना रहे हैं, ऐसी ट्रेन बना रहे हैं जिसमें जो कोयले की जरूरत नहीं है, सो विंड पावर का इस्तेमाल करके प्लांट को ज्यादा से ज्यादा. ये इंडिया की पिक्चर है जिसमें उन्होंने सोलर प्लांट ट्रेन बना दी. So solar plant can help even where there is no power, no electricity. So this picture denotes that अगर हम we keep work hand to hand, I think we can solve the problem. I want to read this loudly. The climate change is large and complex, but it is very likely that many people working from many angles और जिसकी वजह से हम सब लोग यहाँ हैं, with different environments, it doesn't matter, biologist, sociologist, economist, physicists, engineers, we are coming together and making a change. So with this picture, with this hope, I learned from Nobel Prize winner Sir Richard Robertson and another Nobel Prize winner James Watson. I can stand on one wheel with them. So I learned from that we should remember our 4 P's. What is the power of? So I think time was limited, so I was a little fast. So now I will request that you can turn on the camera to the audience because it was very boring for me. I was not able to see you, any one of you. So I was just keep speaking, you know. So you know, I was feeling jealous. Many of you that you are sitting physically. So I wish sometime I will also be able to sit physically with you all.
Thank you, Dr. Ram. Okay, so we'll open the session for questions and answers. So if the students or faculty members or anyone, if you have questions, I think they can come here and they can use the mic, right? This mic to ask the question. Please come, Sharmao mat, aa jao. You have this opportunity to interact. Even comments and suggestions, feedback, that is also.
आवाज जाएगी राम करण जी के पास?
मुझे आपकी आवाज नहीं आ रही है. I'm not able to hear you.
वो माइक ले आइए, माइक.
या
राम करण जी आवाज आ रही है?
ये वाला सर, ये वाला.
हेलो.
ये वाला काम कर रहे हैं?
नहीं ये नहीं कर रहा.
ओके.
Use this mic also because then the audience will be able to hear you. But there will be an echo.
राम करण करण जी बहुत अच्छा लगा आपको सुनकर। करण जी बहुत अच्छा लगा आपको सुनकर। करण जी बहुत अच्छा लगा आपको
सुनकर। आप केवल सर वाला माइक ऑन रखिए और बाकी प्लीज म्यूट कर दीजिए।
तो और भी ज़्यादा अच्छा लगा जेम्स वॉटसन के साथ आपकी पिक्चर देखकर। यहाँ ये इको बंद नहीं हो रही है।
नहीं हो रही है, वो उनकी तरफ, वो उनका भी स्पीकर खुला वो।
यहाँ स्टूडेंट्स हैं एमएससी के बहुत से, तो उनको थोड़ा जेम्स वॉटसन और उनके काम के बारे में बता दीजिए।
आप मुझे शायद जितना अभी आवाज आई है शायद आपने जेम्स वॉटसन के काम के बारे में बोला है।
हाँ।
आई थिंक जेम्स वॉटसन को जितने भी आई थिंक ये फिजिक्स डिपार्टमेंट है तो शायद आपने जेम्स वॉटसन को ज्यादा नहीं सुना होगा, पढ़ा होगा। आई थिंक जो हम जो पैदा हुए हैं, हम जो बोर्न हुए हैं या बच्चे बोर्न होने वाले हैं, आई थिंक डीएनए के बारे में तो सब जानते होंगे। स्ट्रक्चर को खोजा था तो जेम्स वॉटसन ने डीएनए की डबल हेलिक्स स्ट्रक्चर के बारे में बताया था। और मेरे सामने गौरव जी, विजय जी सामने बैठे हुए हैं। ये मैं एक बड़ी अच्छी आपको स्टोरी बनाना चाहता हूँ कि गौरव जी मेरे बहुत ही करीबी हैं। तो जेम्स वॉटसन जी के साथ मैं 1 वीक तक रहा। तो जैसे आप लोगों की दोस्ती है और मैं भी सौभाग्यशाली फील करता हूँ कि मैं आपका दोस्त कह सकता हूँ अपने आप को। ये जो जेम्स वॉटसन ने जो खोज की थी उनके दोस्त की वजह से की थी। वो बायोलॉजिस्ट थे और उनके मित्र थे फिजिसिस्ट। तो वो जो है डीएनए की स्ट्रक्चर ढूंढना चाह रहे थे, वो ढूंढ नहीं पा रहे थे भाई कैसे क्या स्ट्रक्चर सोल्व करूं। तो उनके जो फ्रेंड थे वो फिजिसिस्ट थे, उन्होंने कहा कि टीएम के बारे में आपने सुना होगा। तो उन्हें बोला यार ये क्या बड़ी बात है, मेरे पास एक टेक्नोलॉजी है, मैं हम उसकी हेल्प से कुछ कर सकते हैं। उन्होंने खुद बताया। मैं वो इसलिए क्योंकि टाइम का कंस्ट्रेंट था तो जब मैंने उनसे पूछा कि सर आपको नोबेल प्राइज कैसे मिला, तो आप सुन के सरप्राइज होंगे। उन्होंने ये नहीं कहा कि मैंने बहुत हार्ड वर्क किया, बहुत मैंने मेहनत की। उनका आंसर था कि मुझे नोबेल प्राइज मेरे मित्र की वजह से मिला। कि मेरा अगर, इसलिए मैं स्टूडेंट्स को भी कहना चाहूंगा कि मेक गुड फ्रेंड्स। और हमारी जो साइंटिफिक कम्युनिटी है इसमें तो गुड फ्रेंड्स की बहुत ज्यादा रिक्वायरमेंट है। और कोई भी चीज आप करते हैं, आई थिंक गुड फ्रेंड्स आर रियली आई थिंक ब्लेसिंग्स। सो मैं फिर से थैंकफुल हूँ आपका कि आपने मुझे बुलाया। और आई थिंक जेम्स वॉटसन के बारे में गौरव जी बैठे हुए हैं सामने, ये बायोलॉजी के बड़े अच्छे नॉलेज हैं। कई बार हमने कुछ चीजें डिस्कस भी किए हैं। ही कैन एक्सप्लेन मोर अबाउट यू। एनी क्वेश्चन? सो जो भी स्टूडेंट्स हैं आपके क्वेश्चन हैं, चाहे वो करियर के रिलेटेड हो, मैं क्योंकि आई डोंट नो कि इन्होंने बताया उसमें हम एक इंटरनेशनल करियर काउंसलर आल्सो, करियर कोच आल्सो। और मैं आप ही की तरह, आप तो बड़ी अच्छी सीट्स में बड़े अच्छे ऑडिटोरियम में बैठे हैं। मैं एक प्राइमरी स्कूल से 5वीं तक सरकारी स्कूल से पढ़ के आया हूँ। मैं आईआईटी गया, उसके बाद अमेरिका गया, अभी मैं इंटरनेशनल यूनिवर्सिटी में सीनियर साइंटिस्ट हूँ। एक बहुत नॉर्मल एनवायरनमेंट से उठ के यहाँ पे आया हूँ। तो अगर आपका कोई भी किसी भी तरह का क्वेश्चन है, चाहे वो करियर से रिलेटेड हो, विदेश में पढ़ाई के लिए हो, आईआईटी के लिए हो, प्लीज फील फ्री टू आस्क इन एनी लैंग्वेज, इवन पंजाबी आल्सो आई कैन अंडरस्टैंड। अगर आप अभी नहीं पूछ पाए, यू कैन ईमेल मी।
Thank you so much, sir. Hi, I'm Farhana Rashid. I'm a PhD research scholar from Guru Nanak Dev University, Amritsar. I'm working in the field of environmental sciences, and this year I'm about to complete my PhD. Sir, I want to ask a question, sir. I want to do postdoc in environmental sciences. So, could you please suggest me some good universities or fellowships I would do in my postdoc after completing my PhD? Thank you
so much, Farhana. Very nice question. पहली बात तो ये कि देखिए आज के टाइम में टाइम जैसे क्या रहा है, दोनों क्या आप रिसर्च क्या है, आप क्या कर सकते हैं। यू कैन सेंड योर CV at karan@gmail.com या गौरव सर से मेरा ईमेल आईडी ले सकते हैं आप। तो मैं अगर आपका CV देखूंगा देन आई कैन सजेस्ट यू मोर। बट मैं आपको सजेस्ट करना चाहूंगा कि मोर देन 60 फेलोशिप्स आर देयर। आपको सरप्राइज होंगे जान के, जो साइंस के स्टूडेंट हैं बहुत सारे, नॉट ओनली इंडिया, बहुत सारी कंट्रीज ऐसी है, दोज फेलोशिप्स आर स्पेशली फॉर इंडियंस। और कुछ स्पेसिफिक ऐसे इंस्टीट्यूट्स हैं जो एनवायरनमेंट के आज के टाइम में बहुत ज्यादा फोकस किया जा रहा है। तो जैसे यूनिवर्सिटी ऑफ मेरीलैंड है, उसमें एनवायरमेंटल टेक्नोलॉजी का एक डिपार्टमेंट है, आप अप्लाई कर सकते हैं। मुझे भी ASM फेलोशिप मिली थी, शायद मैं उसके बारे में थोड़ा सा बता देता लिंक भेज दूंगा, मैं गौरव सर के साथ शेयर कर दूंगा। मेरे पास एक स्लाइड है जिसमें सारी यूनिवर्सिटीज लिंक है जो इंटरनेशनल फेलोशिप देती है पढ़ाना। आई विल सेंड यू, अगर आप ईमेल आईडी मुझे यहाँ पे डाल दे, देन आई कैन हेल्प यू।
Thank you so much, sir, for your kind words and your assistance. Surely I will send you my email. Thank you.
Yeah, any question from audience? I can see बहुत सारे स्टूडेंट्स यहाँ बैठे हुए हैं, आप अपना क्वेश्चन पूछ सकते हैं साइंस से रिलेटेड। आई नो टाइम लिमिट है, हालांकि मैंने अपनी टॉक थोड़ा फास्ट की, इसी वजह
क्या हो?
आप एक बार मुझसे बोल दीजिए, अब मैं वहाँ से कट करवाऊंगा, बस फिर आप बोल देना। उसने कहा जी थैंक यू
Sir? Hello? Am I audible to you, sir?
जी गौरव जी।
Sir, I think you have delivered your talk in a very nice way, and from the audience, I am not finding anyone for the question and answers. Okay, so we are really thankful to you for your time, because today you are also busy. You have another lecture, you have another busy schedule after 1 p.m. Okay, I think one more question. Sir, wait. Dr. Ram?
हेलो हेलो
हाँ बोलो, जाएगा वो, एक सेकंड बाद जा रहा है।
Dr. Ram, I'm very thankful to you. Research about it, get to know about it, and you really make me give me stimulus to know more about it. And I have noted down your email and the link that you have provided. I will surely connect to you if I have any doubt. Thanks for your presentation. Thank you.
तन्वी को दे दो, वो करेंगे ना। तन्वी मैसेज देना है ना, थैंक्स का मैसेज दे दीजिए।
Ram sir. Hello sir. Sir, it was a very beautiful lecture, and whenever I hear you, it is always something new that I learn. Because of this internet issue, we are not able to connect properly and engage properly. But since this starting, how you started, what is the issue, what is the problem, you started with this discussion about youth. And then moving on to this idea that we have to do everything to save the world in which we are living, save the ecosystem, because other than that we do not have any option. So one point, because I think we have students from social sciences also here. I teach sociology, so what I can, connecting it to social sciences, what I can reflect on is then we need to question this Western, Western philosophy and Western idea of progress itself, right? And then develop maybe knowledge traditions which are more rooted to our own culture, rooted to our own. And I would also hope that maybe students in the future, they can then in their own life reflect on such issues. This idea of dispossession itself, everyone wants to accumulate so much that they are ready to dispossess someone else, be it an animal, be it another human being. So thank you so much, sir, and we are honored and we are privileged to have you with us, and we'll keep engaging with each other in the future as well.
Thank you so much. Thank you again. Thank you for this opportunity. I really, very humbled and appreciate this task. Thank you.
So hi, welcome back everyone. I hope you are not sleeping, because with online lectures, because of COVID, we are now, हम तो expert बन गए हैं सुनने में और online lectures को receive करने में. So come back, please come back, because now we are going to have a speaker who will be in front of us, physically in front of us, and he's sitting in front of us right now also. So our next speaker is Shri T.K. Roy, and he's, sir please.
Yes, yes, Vijay sir. Okay, you want to introduce him? Okay.
यहाँ पे सर के बारे में बहुत सारी बातें लिखी हैं, बट मैं अपने तरीके से थोड़ा बता दूं। जो टीके रॉय सर हैं, ही इज़ अ वेरी कीन इकोलॉजिस्ट। मेनली इनका जो काम है वो इकोलॉजी में काम है, एवी फौना, बर्ड एंड बायोडाइवर्सिटी उससे रिलेट करते हैं। और दूसरा ये है कि जो एशियन वाटर बर्ड सेंसस है उसके कोऑर्डिनेटर हैं दिल्ली जोन के पूरा। और सर का जो काम है, मतलब ये इनका शेड्यूल और वो सारी चीज़ें इतनी ज़्यादा बिजी रहती हैं। अभी सर का जो शेड्यूल था वो नॉर्थ ईस्ट में अरुणाचल से, और अभी इसके बाद भी वो कहीं जाएंगे। तो एक बात ये थी कि जो इकोलॉजी से इंटरेक्ट रखने वाले लोग हैं, अभी आज का दिन जिस तरीके से है, तो उसमें मुझे लगता है कि इनसे बेटर कोई नहीं हो सकता था हम लोगों को बताने के लिए। तो बहुत सारा जो इनका इनपुट है वो आज आपको कुछ देखने को मिलेगा। पूरा जो इनकी ऑब्जर्वेशंस हैं देखने को मिलेंगी। तो सर का जो पूरा मैं एक बात कहूँ तो बहुत ज़्यादा मुझे ये लगा कि सर आएंगे तो हम लोग को खुद पर्सनली हमें बहुत सारा फ़ायदा होगा। तो आज इस वजह से हम लोग यहाँ पे मतलब वेट कर रहे हैं कि सर का लेक्चर शुरू होगा और हम लोग इनसे पूरा जो इन्फॉर्मेशन है, जो इनपुट्स है वो लेंगे। तो ध्यान से सर का पूरा प्रेजेंटेशन सुनिए। और मुझे लगता है आज शायद वो बर्ड्स के बारे में कुछ उनका रहेगा। तो वेलकम टीके रॉय सर, प्लीज।
Very good morning, everyone. I find a lot of students, the enthusiasts, already I think they left the room. Anyway, some still I can find. Program was little delayed because of, it happened so, because a lot of the hectic programs supposed to be little earlier, but many students already left. I find it's vacant. My first of all, thanks to Dr. Biswas. He's the person, we have a short introduction with him last January only. He was in a such program in the International Waterbird Census. He was one of the volunteers in Delhi. Since then, he invited, I accepted. I was too busy this time because the last 2 days only I was in Delhi. I come back from Northeast and the place keep on going last January onwards and not a single time free. Anyway, today the conference theme was very lovely because a lot of sub-themes covered. And this is very important in this context that it covers whole biodiversity point of view, and there are several kind of sub-themes are there. And a lot of people already, I think, will get chance. I think 2 speakers already given the presentation. And my presentations have out of the biodiversity, one of the component, because biodiversity is not a single one. So multiple things are there. So one of the aspect is the avifauna, simply the birds. This is also very important, and I focused because everything is there, unending talk about there. Here a simple thing I abstract from there, that how bird life is important for us. They provide 4 kind of major ecosystem services globally. We are receiving we're getting their services for our well-being, for our livelihood also. That was completely discovered only 2000 to 2005 United Nations Millennium Ecosystem Assessment. This globally assessment was done. There are thousands of scientists globally. They found it, they completely explored that. Not only I'm talking, I abstracted from that. They overall on biodiversity basically done the ecosystem services. And out of this, my subject, everyone is not the all-rounder, for everyone cannot be. So I'm ornithologist, ecologist, field biologist, I'm conservationist. So I abstracted from this about only bird life, avifaunal issues only. So there also we found that they also provide 4 kind of major services to human being, human well-being and human our society also they abstract from there only. Then I just little bit give because 1 hour is not sufficient because I try to because already getting bored since morning only talking so much is very getting bored also. This is one of the interesting things that I can say. Among bird life, this among animal kingdom, bird life is one of the group of this. This is very colorful, very interesting. There every aspect, even seeing, watching also. Now this bird watching was little bit popular to the human being, but not all over this on conservation issues. That also one of the aspect come over here, how to create awareness for conservation. And you just think of bird life, not today's. It was discovered 2000 only. There is a full there. What are the services that are importance to us? Before that, you see, since ancient times, since the earlier times, every year you find that kind of, it's a different way, it's a traditional way it's using as a symbolic, as a kind of economic way. Some of this you can see that art, this is a lot of art depicted on bird life. A lot of the traditional things, the culture, the religious things, since beginning, this we are involved to this bird life. So bird life, since then they somehow they explored. That time was not science that much advanced, so they could not explore that how much, but they realized that time also the bird life is very important for us. So those are different things since beginning are coming. Even the Raja Maharajas, the kings also earlier days, they used to be hunter as well. They used to be very fond of bird life also. They used to pet animals also. Right? Little bit I reflected here. So since beginning, understand that bird life is somewhat important. But now 2000 Millennium Ecosystem Assessment, it's come out the wholly that what are the importance, why it's. So I have given a little bit introduction about the bird life, then the ecosystem services, whatever this, the status of India bird life, and how now also now declining their number population. Also we are losing a lot of the services. Their kind of gap being bridging gap is also there. And finally, we require kind of the conservation. That is my very simple shortly, because I understand that more of the students are attending the seminar. थोड़ा सा पीछे हो जाऊं. Yes. So I simply mention here, birds are always very colorful among the animals, except a tiger or any some big animals. So bird life, they're always very colorful. So that's why there since beginning we have the fascination, our respect, our interest, or other things related to bird life. So shortly, that's why the bird life is important to us. Now come more details for this. So simply, if we come to the next, I think it will be more shortly. No, before that also something on. Which one you have taken? Can you tell me? After that. Okay, fine. So generally we used to know in advance this before Millennium Assessment also that this kind of the services, the other things related somewhere to the bird life, and we're getting, and we have important our interest also about bird life. This is so that was recognized quite long back that this is one of the important indicator of the environment. So bird life, their presence, their call, their activities, their movement can say what is going to be the environmental condition. This is one of the natural indicator. Then birds are also people are in our curriculum syllabus since beginning school life only, that the part of the food chain that we understand mostly, those are in education. Balance of nature and ecosystem, that little bit people understand already, I think long back. And birds provide major 4 categories that will little bit reflect later on. And birds play key role in our culture and religious. That's since beginning to us that we know the bird life. Simply, if you see the birds now, how many the diversity, species diversity all over the world. So approximately 1361 bird species diversity in India. Out of world diversity is approximately 10,000 plus. So India's bird diversity is also very rich in this context. All over the world, there are 75 families of bird life existing out of 48 families existing in India. So again, India is on bird life is very rich. There are different national, international treaties are there just for conservation of birds in different way. Once one by one, it's explored that the importance of birds. So accordingly for conservation in different aspects, different international organizations formed. So every country is there, large number of countries, they are signatories because they also agreed that we need to conserve the bird life and other animals. So among the 127 CITES, I'll reflect later also what is CITES, is an international treaty. Species, lot of species you see everywhere, that lot of species seasonally they migrate to India, and for the time being, few months they go back. Some are seasonally also, summertime also migrate. So this migratory species also seem as there's one more, the international treaty. India also one of the signatories of this for the conservation, especially those are the animals. I'm taking only the bird life only. I'm not talking about the animals or plants. So 380 CMS species, those are migrate to India. That much species diversity in India we record. More than 200 Indian species. Because 1972, one slowly understood that wildlife is very much important for our well-being, for directly, indirectly services, for our livelihood, for nature conservation. So then India Wildlife Protection Act 1972 introduced in the country for their protection of our wildlife. So that is also more than 200 now species of bird life come under this act. 79 endemic species. Some of the animals, especially bird life I'm talking about, that some of the species are very specific, isolated areas, location, geographical regions, they are available. So India, those species only particular, those areas only. So accordingly, in India, 79 species, there are certain species, suppose some of the species are very restricted to the Andaman and Nicobar. You won't find any part of the world or in the country. Some of the species very much in the western Himalayan regions, they are available. You won't find any part of the part of the world because those species say certain specific their habitat. So they live over there. So this species diversity also 7 in a very large number. 384 species migratory birds in India also, that also recorded. And 108 species. Now slowly what happened? Now due to growing population, already earlier speaker already focused on population issues. This is a global key issue all over globally now. That's the reason now. Everywhere we are degrading our habitat, degrading human well-being, human health, every way, in every respect. The reason is the growing population. Because maximum number, everything is beyond the control, beyond any rules, beyond any ethics. So that is happening. So here also slowly find everywhere that biodiversity losing very fast. So among the biodiversity, bird life, if we say consider one of the major indicator or major component, this is also now growing globally. As per IUCN now, this is, I'll show another slides also, more than 40,000 species are going to extinct. So very large number. So as much species are we losing biodiversity, we'll be facing that much problem. So here 180 species among these in India. So you understand that how much our anthropogenic pressure, the human threats going to be biodiversity as well as this bird life also. Now why shortly the biodiversity as well animal diversity is so rich in our country? We have geographically that was so much researched, explored, and finally it was accepted globally that we have 4 different kind of habitats in the country. So that doesn't have any other country so much habitat. Might be other things are very rich, but India have so diversity, not only India in every aspect, maybe in culturally, in tradition, in religious point of view, any kind of India is very rich in every. So here even ecological point of view, in biogeographic point of view, the habitat point of view also very rich because 10 different kind of the habitats available in the country. That's why in every habitat, a certain kind of their characteristics, their criteria, there are certain specific animals over there. So bird life, that's a very rich, this 10 kind of biogeographic zones in India. See, that's why the diversity is very rich. Next. Sorry, he little actually several files are there. A different file opened, so that's why some of the things slightly was missing. That I find what happened. I already made some of the things, so I was gone. So this simply again I already talked, but here you can have a look of it. That human uses since beginning. How this? That's a little bit reflection over here. How bird life is since beginning so fascinated to us. What is the reason? That time was no science was not so advanced. But what is the reason? And what is the species animal? So simply the little clarification, the point. So human uses birds for thousands of years since then in our tradition, in our culture. The thing is, first one we can see is the economic two uses. Basically one is economic uses, second is symbolic. Economic uses the food basically, earlier days. So what happened earlier days? Food. Food, how again you can say the food means earlier used to be hunting. Because earlier hunting before the introduction of the Wildlife Protection Act, other so many acts for conservation of nature, wildlife, everything. So used to be open everything because that time human population was very minimum. Our nature was plenty of everywhere, full of nature. So biodiversity was very rich. That time minimum kind of hunting, other things, there's no impact for this because automatically it was revived. So that time used to be people for food. That time used to directly go for hunting and a lot of things used to pet animals also, domestic animals. So that is no problem about this non-vegetarian people, the food about there. So those kind of some of the animals, the birds you can see very colorful animals, there's plenty in numbers. So used to go for hunting easily for food. Those are specifically for non-vegetarian people. So those are as a just glance I have shown you, there's a number of species. Now after that one number depleting, minimum the number, they for their absence, the ecosystem are hampering. So we had a lot of services are disrupting. So then only the lot of acts introduced in our country. Second one, symbolic. What are the symbolic uses? You can see simply the art. Since beginning, maybe on the temple wall, different kind of, even the old, the forts also, the palaces also, and any kind of our handicraft things, even our useful every day, there used to be different kind of arts we used to use. That is because of since beginning, the fascination, the respect to the bird life. Music, if you see earlier days, lot of our regional language, the songs, the other things, also lot of things are related to bird life. Because bird life, the bird calls are very sweet. The number of, for example, the quail. Any other things that are different kind of birds that even call used to be earlier related directly to this music over there. Earlier days you see the full film movies also, the different kind of regional songs also, they related directly to the bird life, bird songs. Dance, lot of dance still existing. Different kind of dance also related to bird life. Lot of birds, they themselves the birds dance that way. During the before their breeding starts, they just attract the female, the male, or sometimes female they attract for the male. They used to have different kind of dances for their courtship. So that dances now used to be reflection in our different kind of cultures, symbolic that way. So that kind of dance, even these days, a lot of dance is related directly to this bird life bird dance. So this is again the importance for this. Religion, if you consider any kind of religion, maybe any kind of, right from Hindu, Muslim, Sikh, Buddhist, Islam, whatever. So they are also kind of reflection somewhere related to this bird life. So that's why you can say some of these, take away example, one or two, I've shown it, like Jamra something, believe, or Vishnu, the creator of earth as per Hindu mythology. So there are a number of hundreds of these things are related directly to this bird life, to this animal god and goddesses because of for their importance. I'll come reflect a little bit, little more details. Next. Material. Since earlier, now modern, lot of artificial articles come out for our livelihood, for our comfort. So earlier days, what used to be the good kind of the warm clothing others used to be used that the materials from bird, basically the feathers. Feather used to be for the sleeping bag, good our bed, pillows, and others kind of different kind of their handicraft items also. That used to be very valuable that time. Still this is existing and people follow like this also. So some of these of the clothing fashion used to be the again part of the birds. So you can understand how much related the bird life, usefulness as well the symbolic. Pets, since beginning birds are very colorful and lot of birds can speak also. Once we pet, example, we say the parakeet. Also wrongly people say the parrot, but parrot is not is wrong way. Still, even schools also, the teachers somewhere reflect say that way the parrot. Parrot is not Indian species at all, but it is available in India also through the license they can export, import also. This is, but in our country, this parakeet, but Hindi says the tota, the same name. The green color, the different species are there. They used to be very kind of fond of, they can speak, they can learn, if you learn, they used to be pet animals. So a lot of birds used to be, the white one is parrot. This is Australian species, also available in India. Through a license, they can sell also. So this kind of this beginning was there, that pet animals, birds is very pet animals. So that's why people have very fascination about this bird life to conserve for them also and liking. Then symbolism and heraldry. That since Britishers, you can see, lot of these days also, the symbol, lot of logos, that also bird life is there. Lot of anything. You can see this school's a logo, I do not know. The many institutions, many kind of organizations, nationally, internationally, kind of their reflection of the birds. Why? Could be other animals also. Animals also there, kind of bird life also, because they have the understood kind of importance that we should recognize them and we should conserve them. That's why the reflection in between, that is their bird life. So a lot of symbolic that way also, bird life used to be the earlier. So these are the reflection in the earlier. That's why people used to be fascinated with bird life. Next. Simply in scientific term, I'm not going more details. If we classification simply the animal kingdom, animal could be small, insect to anything could be the big animals, anything. The animal kingdom, there are 5, the groups are there. One of the group that is the bird, or we can say technically, that is avifauna, right? So simply how we can say the bird, how can differentiate? Very simple now. I think class 3rd student can now, this is also their curriculum. This is simply, a bird is warm-blooded animal of class Avis. Avis is the bird life, and which have feathers, number 1, and beak. Other animals doesn't have beak. No teeth. They bite definitely, but different way they're biting. And their eggs, but egg could be of the reptiles also. But these are the basic characteristics we can identify. They're the species, the class of avifauna, the birds. Next. Generally, for the students I put this. Now, if we know the bird life, generally there are different kind of their, again, classification. We are not going that way. Simply, if it's the birds, the people can query come. बहुत सारे birds हम देखते हैं. Some birds on the water, some birds on this grassland, some birds on in the high mountains, in the snow-lined areas, some birds on the small ponds, some birds on in around our houses also. Then how can we differentiate? Simply the differentiation, the type, 2 types we can say, as per the habitat. What the bird, their living habitat, this is basically 2 types generally. One is the animal, the water and water dependent, another is the terrestrial. Those are not water related. Those are maybe on the grassland, in the mountains, the Himalayas, everywhere. Those are simply terrestrial. So 2 kind of generally the bird life, birds we can differentiate. So land birds, land anywhere that can be, that grassland birds can anywhere can be, the tree birds on the trees, and mountain anywhere can be. Second one, water. Some birds are fully water dependent. If no water, they cannot survive. Fully their life is dependent on water because their feeding behavior, the ecology depends everything on the birds. Some are partly water dependent. Those are partly dependent on the surface, means on the land somewhere, and partly water. So those simply you can say water and water dependent birds. Some are fully water. So 2 classification I told, mentioned over here so that people can understand generally 2 types of. Achha, yes, here. And another way also, now people say, so what kind of those birds come for long distance or anywhere we come seasonally, we can see other time they do not available over there. What does it mean? Some are we can throughout there we can see here, some they do not gain here. What does it mean? So simply for classification another way, the type of bird as per their movement or their travel. Certain times they travel to different places, certain times they are not, some bird not at all travel. So simply those birds they travel from one place to another seasonally, maybe for breeding, maybe for certain climatic condition not favorable, go for feeding, for food and stay. Those birds we simply consider migratory birds. The second one, the species of bird that usually migrates. Okay, so some birds, that's why you will find large number of bird species in winter. On the anywhere the wetland, you can see the winter birds. People, that's why very fascinating. Go for birding, watching birds. Those are maybe to see the birds. You have to go to the different other continents to see the birds. But certain period, those birds come to India and other parts also because due to some reasons, I'll tell you later. So those are migratory species, and some species throughout the year, maybe whole Asia they are available, maybe whole Europe they are available because of their availability, because their habit some are maybe to the Himalaya, some of the areas, from there again to the footage, that much more maybe, and some are exclusively from that particular areas only, area wetland or maybe the forest areas only they live. Those are simply the resident species. Now biodiversity, simply, today's focus was basically biodiversity. I'm taking one part only among these, the bird life. So biodiversity status in India. If we consider about this, at present status, say, it was basically 12th megadiversity country. Now present status, they say, globally, the Convention on Biological Diversity, India is one of the 17 megadiverse countries. They again see the richness of biodiversity, overall biodiversity is very rich in India, because we have the 10 different kinds of habitats available, no other countries. With 2.4% of the Earth's land area we have only, and it accounts 7 to 8% of the world's recorded species. Again, accordingly, so many about 200 approximately, I think, countries in the world. So among these, it's very rich that way. And 4 biodiversity hotspots in the country, having this, the habitat richness. What are these basically? The 4 kinds of globally accepted, that's the people globally come over here to see certain kind of biodiversity, kind of for scientific studies, for overall to see, observe. So those are the Himalayas, only in the country, and our related few countries pass through these Himalayas. So India is one among these, the largest portion belongs to the Himalayas, India. So Himalaya is the hotspot because there are certain species you find in the Himalayas, no other part. The Western Ghats, another mountain part, not high mountain. The western part is along this sea coast. This western part is another spot. There are certain species still keep on exploring every year. Exploring new species over the plants, and in 10 days for a survey and talk others. So again, Northeast India, the 6 or 7 smaller states, very rich. Their habitat is totally different. And that's why their the species diversity and endemism is very peculiar kind of. So people have to go to see those kind of things, have biodiversity to this Northeast only. This is another 3rd biodiversity hotspot, and 4th one is Nicobar Island. So all world, there are seas there, everywhere sea. But again, among these, the Nicobar Island is the very specific kind of, they are the species that they are nowhere in the world. So these are 4 hotspots in the world that's recognized globally. Next. Sir, already I mentioned this. Next. This is next. Yes. Now, also now how? When you explore that, the biodiversity richness is very rich, very high in the country. So how to protect them? Slowly the population, population increase is so high, because the second thickly populated country in the world after China. So then how to, once population is so much increasing, means we have, and people do not believe one day that where we are living, the nature, simply the mother nature or nature, that people still do not understand. We want the learned people, the most educated people in the world, in the country, that we least respect to the nature, but so much advancement we require. But we do not understand people that where we are living, who are giving all the components for our livelihood, for our survival, all are mother nature. But to conserve all these biodiversity, so a lot of acts introduced in the country, still people are not being fully abide by, or that feeling that we need to first our criteria to conserve our mother nature by the biodiversity. So that's why so far that way, as per the act, certain areas to conserve, protect this area, so far the declared wildlife sanctuaries in the country, 566 sanctuaries, wildlife sanctuaries. The certain kind of characteristics of the sanctuary just to preserve, conserve, protect the certain animals of biodiversity. National Parks 104, I think was again the kind of very example, that many kind of, the protected area in the other countries is very, not that much. So National Parks 104 national parks, again every protected area started kind of their habitat, kind of the animal diversity, biodiversity that's declared. So 104 is very rich again, just for protection of this biodiversity. Now after that, new concept come of the conservation reserve. Have you heard the name? Lot of village areas, those are not developed so much the city like others. We have lost any city means we have lost this natural biodiversity, all the things. But some of the remote areas, the villages, there's not that much thickly populated. Those areas also very richness of the biodiversity we explored. So now those also included in the act. So some of the, that way, the villagers, they understood. Once they convinced, yes, this is very much our livelihood providing. We need to conserve them. So understanding, mutual understanding, they also, once they understood it, you declare our, we need kind of their financial, our kind of financial assistance as well. The biodiversity should be there connected that way. Accordingly, 214 community reserves in our country. It's very good there. They understood that yes, these are giving our livelihood. We should conserve them. So this also comes the same act, Wildlife Protection Act, certain point they are preserved that way. Biosphere reserve in India. This is another larger area. There maybe comes including the national park, the wildlife sanctuaries, the maybe kind of other kind of areas, the open areas. These large areas, biosphere reserve. These are in our country 18 biosphere reserve. No other country world in that much number. Important. Now another comes of the modern this century is this BirdLife International. There's one of the global organization. They're working exclusively on birdlife. This is their partner organization of IUCN. How we can conserve globally the birdlife. They focused kind of their one project globally. This is bird and biodiversity areas. They have certain criteria after exploration of globally. Certain criteria, if criteria particular, maybe it can be open area, it can be any personal areas or maybe protected areas that can be declared. If any of the criteria fulfills about that bird life, that declares as a biodiversity. So India so far, and around more than 10,000 I think so far, these IB areas declared. In India also so far 467 IBS sites are there. So very rich again. Ramsar sites. You might have heard about these Ramsar sites. This is old name, now new name is different. Ramsar sites means one of the again international treaty. They look for conservation of this international importance of the wetlands. Those wetlands international importance after certain criteria fulfill, every country approach to them, and after the verification they find yes, this is very important on international point of view. They declare this international site. So in Punjab also so far I think 7 sites are very small states, 7 Ramsar sites are declared, very rich that way. And all over India now only 47 Ramsar sites in India. 49 now recently declared, few more, now 49 Ramsar sites. Again Ramsar site can be, this is for biodiversity for aquatic part because this is wetland. So wetland biodiversity, one of these bird life was very important, rich. So their importance very much. This beginning I already given, this shot was there, so that slide earlier was there. Now, India's signatory, there are different the international organizations formed as per importance of the biodiversity. So these are simply, IUCN was the first one. International Union for Conservation of Nature, simply we say World Conservation Union. So every country is the signatory, every country follow their guidelines. They basically round the world, any living things for the conservation protection, the scientists, the ecologists around the country, the world, apart from their employed other lot of the people also like us. I'm also in 3 global committee members of the IUCN. Our responsibility to make people awareness, make kind of people to involve them so that they can understand the conservation of the biodiversity globally. So this is the organization. So they give some species diversity or the species population declines, certain criteria comes, then they declare, this authority declares this is the criteria of endangered species or kind of threatened species categories. CMS, Convention on the Conservation of Migratory Species of Wild Animals. This is another treaty formed because those specifically for the animals, those are migrate from one place to another. Again, migration is very important thing, but we cannot cover so many things over here. So those species, how to conserve them? If we do not take care of the migratory species, if they declines or extinct, again we are facing the same kind of problem. They won't come back. One species has gone means there's no other way to bring them back. So those species, the last year, 2020, the first conservation, their global meeting convention was held in India. That was in Gandhinagar. I was one of the delegates over there also. So there's a third one is CITES, another convention, because so much globally open for hunting. When they find the hunting is so much, the population is so increasing. If keep on hunting, that day will come. No animals will be existing for food. They what for hunting? Some are for hobby. Some the trophies collection. Other way they sell very largely the skin, other things that we do. Some of the people just for photography for them that I am the great hunter, just for hobby. Because if that continues, the time will come. The animals will be extinct. So for their protection and their business point of view, import-export. This is another treaty form. This is Convention on International Trade on Endangered Species of Wild Flora and Fauna. So this is very important. They some way the monitoring globally. India is one of the partners. India have their offices. They have very kind of Indian one crime control bureau also under them. This is working for this to protect the wildlife from crime control. This organization, CBD, they found when the world found that overall how, okay, bigger other animals, we have the protection. Overall, biodiversity, how will protect? So then again another treaty form, this is CBD, Convention on Biological Diversity. So overall, maybe small insect to anything, maybe the big animal, overall biodiversity for the globally conservation, this. So India also one of the signatory to them. So several kind of the importance international treaties form. They are very actively working, every country following their instructions, their whatever they are time to time giving the outputs. And last one, that is simply say the Ramsar says, Ramsar means simply what I have given you. Iran, Ramsar, there is a place. 1971 probably. This is, they have a, all over globally, means the countries representative, they gather together, they just have a understanding that how we conserve these wetlands, they're disappearing. So that basically Convention Wetlands International. Simply now, this was earlier named by the name of this place, the Ramsar Convention. So India also one of the signatory. Now otherwise, so these are the things, simply I told that I mentioned, these are the different categories of avifauna bird life existing in India. Simply this, if we classify them, the CITES 157 CITES species available in India. That export, import, they are allowed up to some extent for their protection. So this is 157 is a large number. Basically, they have indexes, index 1 or 2 accordingly, 157 species covers. Next, CMS, already given the mention. CMS about 380 species because those migrate time to time. I'm talking about not other animals, this avifauna, 380 species we record come to India in different seasons, seasonally. Indian scheduled species already there large number, that's why this act introduced. So there are more than 200 species overall, their number keep on increasing every year because seeing the condition, their depleting population other way, they categorize it certainly. So Schedule 1 species 61, this is the very last stage of the endangered category or the threatened category. This is the last stage of the category. After that, if we don't protect, it will extinct forever. Like cheetah, still people do not know, cheetah totally extinct from our country. So now government, Ministry of Forest trying to introduce African cheetah, only available to African cheetah to India. If it survives, somewhere maybe people can understand, somewhere they can help the ecosystem services. But cheetah already extinct from our country. People still do not know. People say other animals also cheetah. Cheetah has gone. So more than 100 species are Scheduled 4 species. These are the kind of disturbance to them. People, wildlife department, they can arrest them. They can penalize them very highly. Schedule 5 also one of the species like crow. This is very important. General house crow, people do not know how much. Why is schedule? This is everywhere crow. People say it's a bad animal, so it eat everything. It's a very dirty, but they don't know there how much ecological importance to this species. Only one species that is your house crow. The number also depleting now. Next, migration shortly. It's a big talk. It take one day at least to cover these migration issues. When I talk in other universities, it takes full 1 day. Migration simply, why migration do? Simply, the regular seasonal movement. If all season you don't find the species over here, those are resident. Because some species seasonally migrate, but why? Due to somewhere maybe for the breeding purposes, somewhere maybe avoiding unfavorable weather conditions or the habitat, maybe shortage of food or maybe shortage of shelter. So generally, largely, basically, winter migration happens and summer migration. Also other seasonal happen, but these are two prime seasons because winter is the prime. So large, those are the countries in the northern part in the globe, like Russia, our fight is going on. So those areas, the northern part of your Asia, Central Asia, those become winter very, very severe condition, everything frozen. So they don't find their shelter, don't find their food. So those animals, other animals also move and bird life also move because bird life moves very faster, other animals, moving animals will be slower. But They thousands kilometers, they fly to the south to find the suitable condition where they can stay few months. So India, one of the Asia's largest, one of the South Asia's country. And South Asia, basically very favorable for them, although their winter is there, but not frozen everywhere, except the high Himalaya. So most of these, the water bodies, you will find the terrestrial birds also come, but largely we record this, the thousands and lakhs of millions of birds, different species come to the wetlands. They find they can bear the cold because water is not frozen. So what is the suitability? For us, maybe cold is very cold. So there they get the shelter, and the seasonal they get shelter and the food. They spend now, by the time this month, before March already has gone back, a lot of, if you cannot see, if you go everywhere, well, you find winter month, a lot of bird species over there on the water, they've gone back because the time is over, the indicator I told you. How they understand? Nobody says, no thermometer. How they understand? Because they are the natural indicator of the environment. They understand temperature increasing, they feel it. They see the surroundings, the habitat kind of interaction, they feel it. So they start going back. They go for breeding. Their own country's own origin, they go back. Now the breeding going to start in summer monsoon, basically the breeding period. So they go back. So that's why the migration happens. Next. Migration season basically same kind of their winter migration, wintering for food and shelter basically, winter being they come, and once spring over, they go back. They both water birds as well, terrestrial birds, but large number of water birds basically do because frozen the water completely. Summer migration also happens, again maybe food or summer migration basically for breeding. Lot of species in India also, or maybe surrounding South Asian part, Southeast Asian, some of the countries, some of the species migrate especially for summer months. Now you'll find some of the species maybe Punjab also. So the prime, some of the wetlands, if you go to the Harike, go to the Kanjli wetland, these are all Ramsar site. Because other parts also, you will find some of the species come, see in summer only, they come for, not for this shelter, because summer is summer, so this doesn't record. They come specially for breeding over here. The suitability, because that time they require plenty of foods. So for their offspring as well for them also. So that's why summertime we find a lot of the breeding species, they come for breeding as well for food also. So those again some water birds also, as well terrestrial birds also migrate seasonally. So these are tamed flyaway, again very interesting thing, migration. How do migration, thousands and thousands kilometers they do migrate. How possible? They don't have vehicle, don't have navigator. Now we have so modern that GPS, we on it, GPS we find our route, shows we drive our car, we reach anywhere. But how they do? Since beginning, not only that they start in modern age, since beginning they are migrating. Now climatic changes now much more, because again by human anthropogenic pressure, other kind of things, lot of greenhouse gases. So climatic changes, global warming, now more. But since the earlier days also they keep migration. But how? They have certain kind of 10 globally, 10 migration routes they follow, because they basically still research going, not conclusion of the research, how they do. Yes, they understand some kind of the feeling they have, that navigational, the feeling of that your, what is it, the magnetic feeling they have basically, they follow a lot of species, night also they keep flying, day also flying. They follow certain prominent features, the objectives on the ground, that they follow. That if this is there, sometimes now in modern cities they find maybe some prominent features also disappeared because modernization coming up. That is sometimes they feel this kind of confusion also. A lot of cities that way also confusion also to reach some of the areas. But basically that the objectives they follow, that is some of the night hours also. They again follow the night hours like human being, the stars are others, the movement, that way they also follow. Day hours basically sun or that kind of ground on the ground they're flying. Some of the prominent structures they follow that way, the navigation they follow. So that the 10 migratory routes are there, they follow the routes particular, then they go back. Very interesting. And among this, in Asia's, in our country comes follow basically two routes are there. One Central Asian flyway, the greenish color, that is the main route come to India from other parts. And another also partly West Asian and East Asian flyway, partly covers in India, but other South Asian countries they cover basically. So Central Asian flyway route is very prominent route, they follow a particular route. See the route formation, that way they come and go back. Now Government of India, now last CMS we have taken a decision there also, that the big project now, that those are species migratory, we need to conserve them also. So they have a big project now Government of India have undertaken, that whosoever the species coming as a migratory species already this notified species, and those wetland covers under this wetland, this Central Asian Flyway, those has to be protected. By the time also the protection of this, now you can see lot of earlier days, the plenty of wetlands, now wetlands are disappearing because again anthropogenic pressure over there and development of so much. We are digging, no, instead of making wetland, we are making them to disappear because lot of development work coming up day by day. So the new act, new rule is come up, Wetland Conservation Protection Rules 2017 under Supreme Court order. This has come up. Now they have certain way, has to conserve like other things also, wetland has to be protected in our country. It's very important now. So those certain measurement is there, it has to be notified. So now, so this big project will help lot of migratory species, the aquatic biodiversity, that wetland if you conserve. So the different way, so this is a big project going on. Maybe you